From the News and Messenger from the year 2010, the rise and fall and rise of the women's tour. Many Prince William bowlers will remember watching the Ladies Professional Bowlers Tour, LPBT, on television back in the 1980s and 90s. In fact, some say it was more enjoyable watching the ladies than the men on the Pro Bowlers Tour. But the LPBT doesn't exist anymore. It vanished. So what happened? What went wrong? In 1960, the Professional Women's Bowling Association was formed. This organization sponsored some tournaments for professional women bowlers, but there was no tour. After a shaky beginning, primarily because of weak management, some of the women bowlers left this group to form the Ladies Professional Bowlers Association in 1974. The two groups coexisted for a while, but in 1978, they merged to form the Women's Professional Bowlers Association, which later became the LPBT. In the 1980s, the LPBT was popular, and many of the events were televised on ESPN. But toward the latter part of the 1990s, interest began to wane, and the tour had difficulty in keeping sponsors. Finally, the LPBT ceased operations before the completion of its 2003 season. Professional women bowlers were greatly disappointed over the loss of the tour because without it, they could not make a living bowling. From 2004 to 2006, the United States Bowling Congress Queen's event was the only event for female bowlers that received TV coverage. In 2007, things began to look up for professional women bowlers. That year, the USBC acquired rights to the U.S. Women's Open. The event was televised for 5 Sundays on ESPN. Hall of Famers Nelson Burton Jr. and Marshall Holman were the announcers. This event was very successful and very important because it was sort of a turning point for women's bowling. The U.S. Women's Open served as the qualifier for the PBA Women's Series, a special 4-stop mini-tour. The finals for the mini-tour events were televised along with the regular PBA broadcasts for 4 Sundays on ESPN in fall of 2007. The PBA Women's Series has since been expanded to additional tour stops and is now the de facto professional women's tour. The U.S. Women's Open returned for 5 weeks in 2008, and the PBA Women's Series was expanded to 7 events in 2008 and 9 season. This series continues today and has given rise to a whole new group of women professional bowlers.